Hey YouTube, wanted to make another YouTube video, post-run thoughts, episode 3, or episode 2, I don't think you count the channel intro. So I ran this morning. I thought of the idea last night, but I ran this morning so my subconscious could move on it and I could better present it with a sharper mind this morning. So this is my top 5 anime for me, not necessarily all time. Well, all time for me, but these are the animes and mangas as well that have influenced me the most in my life so far. So at number 5 I have Chihayafuru. It's a show based on a game, a very niche game in Japan called Karuta, and I'm a sports anime fanatic, which you'll tell by the rest of the list. You'll tell by the rest of the list, but this show is about Karuta is a game where cards are laid out in front of you, and same for the opponent, and a reader reads the corresponding poem, and depending on how early you're able to realize that's the poem that's being read, you then swipe it off, and the card could be on your side or the opponent's side. And if you swipe it off on your side, then you're able to lose a card on your side. And if you're able to swipe it off on the opponent's side, then you lose 2 cards on your side. I think that's how the rules go. And the winner is the person who has the least amount of cards, or who's able to get to 0 cards by the end of the game. But to be honest, the game is like, they're intense, they're fun, but I think the genius of this show is the characterization of the characters throughout. So for me, I'm not sure when this series is going to end. I think it'll take a while for it to end. Maybe. I've heard some reports that the climax is coming near, but for me, the climax was with my man Taichi. I think Taichi is one of the greatest characters of all time for me. The way he's a character I can relate with a lot. Someone that's not necessarily the best at the things he wants to be good at, but okay, above average at things he doesn't really care about. And the things he cares about directly corresponds with his friends. And seeing his character development, seeing how he grows, seeing his downward trend towards his upward trend, seeing his sad boy phase to him realizing everything mattered, was one of the best character moments I've ever been able to read. So it's 3 seasons right now in the anime, but the manga is top tier. The part I'm actually talking about is in the manga. It hasn't been animated yet, so I'm really excited for that part to be animated. But yeah, check that out. That's number 5, Chihayafuru. At number 4 I have One Piece. So this was a show that initially wasn't even in my top 5, with probably like as of last year, but sort of the recent developments in the Wano arc. So I'm currently reading the manga right now. I'm caught up with the manga for a while now, for 5-6 years now. I've been following it with the community, and the show is obviously incredible. It is the Michael Jordan of anime. We'll talk about it's the LeBron James of anime, but we'll talk about that at a different time. But One Piece, it's obviously an incredible story, great adventure, fun characters. But the thing that sort of puts it in my top 5 is the community aspect to it. Being able to read a chapter weekly, and then watching all my reviewers react to it, and then talking about it, discussion posts on Reddit, the subreddit. This is a show that I've been following for 10 years now. I caught up with the show during Marineford, the anime during Marineford. Right when the climax of Marineford, I don't want to spoil anything, and I just couldn't wait, and I caught up in the manga, and from then, almost every week, I've been reading it, and I've been watching the corresponding reviewers numbers right. King Recon, Sawyer 7 Mage, King of Lightning. Those are my top 3 that I watch almost every week. And just that community aspect puts it at number 4. And the lore of it, it's easily the best adventure story, the most thorough adventure story of all times. Being able to watch multiple theory videos on it, it's incredible. It's an incredible show. At number 3, I have Jojo the series. So initially, again, same sort of like thing with One Piece, sort of growing over time to like it because of what it's done, what it's given me in my life. There's obviously the community aspect. There's friends that I enjoy, that I'm good friends with, that really enjoyed the show, and being able to react with them to the show puts it just in my top 5. But JoJo Part 7, I know Part 6 is coming out, but when JoJo Part 7, we might be having a different discussion in the 10 years it takes for JoJo Part 7 animated to come out. But JoJo Part 7 is one of those shows that put things together for me in my life, put sort of certain thought patterns together that I hadn't thought of before as to how to apply myself to certain things. And for that, I have to be appreciative of it. And it's easily, like, after One Piece, it's the second most like ambitious story I've ever read. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're gonna go about it. I was also worried about how they would go about Part 6, because there's a lot of copyright things going on, a lot of Disney work going on in Part 6. So I was worried about how JoJo Part 6 was gonna get animated, and I'm also worried about how JoJo Part 7 is gonna get animated, because the climax, the journey they're on, I'm not sure if that's like the most politically correct thing to journey around, but we'll see how whoever picks it up animates that part. But yeah, just because I highly recommend it. Complete, it's pretty much entire arc, an entire like story about just full of wisdom, essentially. At number 2, I have a manga. It's not gonna get animated, most likely. I don't see it getting animated, but it's called Real. It's an anime. It's a manga about wheelchair basketball, and again, you'll notice like a consistent thing with my top 5. It's about the characters for me, if I can relate to them and how much I enjoy them. But in this case, you learn about the characters, who they are as individuals, but then there's also their backstory of how they got in that wheelchair and how hard life can be sometimes, and being able to still have dreams and ambitions that you want to chase despite the hardship. Because I think it's really easy to say like you want to be the best at certain something if you're like a really privileged like brat, but to say it in their position and for that same ambition and dream to bring them out of that funk, I thought it was one of the most inspiring things I've ever read. I read it pretty recently too. I read it probably sometime in January, December, but it's another change in the chemistry of my brain, right? All of my top 5, they could easily be number 1, but they're ranked that way because it's the amount of chemistry that's changed in my brain, the amount of impact they've had on me while I was reading it. That's all I can, and I can't really give that much away about the plot. Just wheelchair basketball, how they got in that wheelchair, and the struggles of them trying to reach their goals and the humanity in that. At number 1, I have Haikyu. So Haikyu, before this last season, I think it was season 4 to the top, correct me on that, I'm not sure, but part 2 of season 4 was some of the best anime I've ever watched through not even just like a animation perspective, not even through like a soundtrack. Easily, Haikyu has the best soundtrack in all of anime by leaps, not necessarily by leaps and bounds, but it's a lot of fun. It's something I listen to on the regular. Also that, but there's a character named Kita that it seems like the point of his character is just to drop gems and just to drop these lines in the background of people that are living it. And he has the wisdom to understand what's going on during the certain match that they're playing. And that moment by itself, that his speeches and his character was enough for it to that was it. That was incredible. It just hit different. Never experienced anything like that watching anime. Never been that motivated to just do something and do it passionately by anything else in my entire life. Prime, that was peak. And yeah, also I think the growth that you see out of Hinata and just all the characters, the way he's just able to drag them up through his passion as well for volleyball, was also just incredible. Hope you guys check that out. The fact that Haikyu takes a while for me to takes until season 4 for it to become goated might sort of detract some people, but I think it's worth the wait. And if you thoroughly take your time through it, don't binge it. It's really an enjoyable show. All right, that's it for me. Thanks for watching.